Hi guys! Okay, so I apologize because yesterday's video was freaking ridiculous. I'm kind of doing them back to back just so that I know this one will be up tomorrow morning, and because I'm extremely talkative for whatever reason. And I realized when I got done that it was 11 minutes long, and I was like, holy shit. Like, I'm sorry that I talked that long. I didn't need to talk that long for 2.5 pages of stuff, but I did, so I'm sorry. Anyway, so today is day 107, also known as day 29. We are on page 103, and today we are going over the meaning of Beltane. Now, like I said yesterday, sex and the great rite, which is sex, is a huge focal point of Beltane because of the whole fertility aspect of this time of year. Now, as it's saying in here, the sexual act in and of itself is not the final word when it comes to Beltane. As it is with all the witches' ritual action, sexual union carries a deeper metaphorical and spiritual message. It conveys the principles of both universal love and of union with nature and the divine. Love is the guiding force during this high holy day in the witches' year. Although love means many things and you might have numerous associations with the word, when we first think of love, most of us immediately call to mind images and sensations of our romantic life. Which is true. When I think of love, I immediately think of Kevin. But we have other kind of love. We have love for our families. We have love for our children. We have love for even items, household items, our jobs, our life. There's a lot of different kinds of love, and all of that is important on Beltane. While there are many forms of love, Beltane celebrates a universal, worldly, and unconditional form. The love at Beltane, as expressed through the principle of sexual union, is the love of life itself. It is an unemotional, detached form of love. That is not to say that love expressed at Beltane is cold and unfeeling. The opposite is true, since the love principle expressed at Beltane is not attached to anything or anyone. It is directed outward to everyone. So, let's just make sure I'm not skipping over anything important that I have to... I think that's... Yep. Pretty much. Okay, so today we are... So basically, the meaning of Beltane is love. The meaning of Beltane is the great rite because it represents an unconditional, undying love for everything. And also, like I said, it also represents... Now, a lot of the fertility stuff is also in Ostara, but I really put a lot of fertility, at least I personally do, into Beltane because of the time of year it is. And it might be different for everybody else, but here in Michigan, Beltane is when stuff is finally starting to sprout. We're finally starting to see new growth, because I normally have snow through the end of April. So for me, Beltane is huge when it comes to that rebirth, that fertility, that union. You know, what happens when you do the great rite? You create life. And that's what I feel like is happening for me personally up here on Beltane because of the climate that I have. Now, for other people, it may just, it's supposed to be more of just a burst of life and a burst of beauty, just because the world is coming into, like I've seen, if you watch Tia, or the Red Rose Fairy on YouTube, she just posted up garden videos, and I mean, gorgeous. She's got flowers and plants and everything all over the place. I have dead stuff. So for her, Beltane may mean a little bit something different than it does for me here. But yeah, Beltane is a big, great rite, ultimate love holiday. Just putting it out there. I don't know how many times I can reiterate that, but anyway. So today our practice is the Beltane fire. And the fire of Beltane represents that passion. When you have love for something, an undying, unconditional love, you have a crazy passion that goes with it. And when you think of passion, when you have to associate it with one of the elements, passion is associated with fire. And so not only that, but a lot of times people use the Beltane fire, they jump over it during ritual, and they also use it for Beltane wishes. So today we are making a Beltane fire. If you can, in an open natural setting. You want to take every precaution that the fire will be well contained and that it has little or no chance of endangering the surrounding flora. If possible, it is best to build the base of this fire using oak branches. Be sure to build the base fire with small branches or dried twigs. Once this base fire is well underway, toss in the following ingredients, which comprise the recipe for the legendary Fire of Azrael. So what you need, a handful of sandalwood, a handful of cedarwood, and a handful of dried juniper. So as you watch the fire burn, contemplate the theme of union. Notice that a fire cannot be without the successful union of heat, fuel, and air. When all three are in union, fire can exist. Be sure to jump over the bonfire, carefully if you do, and to make Beltane wishes while you vault the flames. Better yet, leap over the flames with a sexual partner to strengthen your bond and to ignite passion. When the fire is burned out and only embers remain, take time to gaze into the embers for portents of the future. Now here are some safety guidelines that I'm going to read because I don't need anybody getting hurt doing this. And then I'm also going to, if you cannot make a Beltane fire, if you're too young, if your parents won't let you, if you can't get outside, anything like that, I'm going to talk to you guys also a little bit about what else you can do. So for the safety guidelines, you always want to have a bucket of water, sand, or even a shovel on hand before you build the fire. You can use these to douse the fire when you are finished with the ritual or in an emergency. Dig a small pit away from overhanging branches, circle the pit with rocks or insert a metal fire ring. Clear a 5-foot area around the pit down to the soil. Don't use flammable liquids to start the fire or anywhere near the fire, like gasoline. Once the fire is lit, stay with it at all times. Keep your campfire safe from children and pets. Never build a campfire on a windy day. Sparks can travel for long distances. To extinguish the fire, pour lots of water on it and drown it out completely. Then cover the ashes with dirt or sand. Don't leave a fire until it's out cold. And never walk away from smoldering embers. Okay, so for those people that can build a fire outside, I'm serious. I'm so super serious when I say please make sure that you are doing it with the utmost care and the utmost caution. Because fire isn't a toy, blah, 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 blah. Seriously, be careful. If, however, you cannot build a fire outside, or if you're like me and you have, now my parents have a bonfire pit, and I could go to my parents' house on Beltane and create a fire and all that, which would be fine. But I live in a second-story apartment, and I can't build a fire out on my deck. So other things that you can do, you can get sandalwood, cedarwood, and juniper incense, and you can light all three at once. You can get a handful of all three and create your own incense and burn them on top of a charcoal block. You can burn them that way. That way they're still smoldering. You're still getting the scent of it indoors. If you're going to do it indoors, make sure that you use something that is fireproof, and even if it is fireproof like this, you still want to cover the bottom with sand or salt so that the heat has something to disperse into. You also want to make sure that if you're going to do something inside, you be sure that it doesn't have a flame or have a huge flame, because you don't want to cause a house fire. Not cool. Let me think of what else I can do. The incense. I think what I'm going to do is the charcoal block. At least for right now, I'm going to make it, because they have a Beltane incense, but until I can get to my parents' house and use their bonfire for this, because I really do want to do this in an actual bonfire, because this will be sweet. But until then, because I can't do a bonfire here, I think I'm going to use the charcoal block idea and just take a mortar and pestle and take sandalwood, cedarwood, and juniper, crush them up, and then sprinkle it on top of a charcoal block, because That's what I want to do. So please be careful. Enjoy, have fun. If you don't want to do this today, you can just write it in your book shadows, write it in your journal so that you have note of it, and you can just wait and do this on Beltane, or the day before, or every day leading up to Beltane. So tomorrow we're going to be doing the Magical Rose Wash. That's on day 108. And you're going to need a pint of spring water, an ounce of fresh rose petals, and a few drops of rose essential oil. Now, one thing I do want to mention about tomorrow, really quick. Rose essential oil, like I said in the past, is very expensive. Like, holy shit expensive. Like, let me just show you guys. I have a very small amount of rose essential oil, but I ordered a whole bunch of incense together. And this is the size that they came in. This is the size that my rose came in, and it's not even full. It's like a few drops at the bottom, because it is so crazy expensive. So, if you do not have rose essential oil, which I'm sure a lot of people don't, please don't fret. You can either use something else. You can use a different essential oil if you like. Don't, and I was telling somebody else this because they had mentioned that they were possibly going to just use like rose perfume. If you're going to use rose perfume, because I'm pretty sure these, we're not actually, well, I know we're not ingesting them, but I don't think we're putting them on ourselves, so that's fine. You can use rose perfume if you want. But for the incense, because you are going to be using rose oil in that, do not use any kind of fake oil in your incense and then burn it, because it could be toxic. So when it comes to incense day, if you don't have rose oil, just omit it or add something else in its place, a different essential oil that you know is not toxic to burn. So that is kind of my little spiel for the day. Today was Meaning of Beltane. Tomorrow we'll be doing the Magical Rose Wash. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.